Hello and welcome to IBM TV. I am the senior executive producer of IBM TV, and today is Celebrity Tuesday. And as we are just always so fortunate, we know that Henning Morales is going to show up today. I don't know that he's backstage yet, but I see that Michelle has joined us backstage. And some of the things that we like to talk about on Celebrity Tuesday, and one of the reasons why I like it when Henning comes around, is that we talk about all the positive influences that we can make on our youth. And that's one of the things I enjoy about Henning Morales, is because he's such a family-oriented man who inspires all of these great and wonderful things that we can do for our children, but he's doing it in movies, because what better way to inspire our youth and our next generation than to inspire them in movies, because we all like movies, right? And so I have had the pleasure to sometimes get to go out and watch Henning's pre-recorded, before they're done movies. I've actually been on the set with him, and I know that he's going to be joining us, but I think Michelle is here to talk a little bit about RevShare Films and what they're doing. Welcome, Michelle. How are you doing?
Good morning, and thank you. Or good morning here in LA, but I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today. How are you?
Well, and yes, and thank you for reminding me that it's morning sometimes somewhere else. That's the great thing about being from around the world, right?
Right. I always say it's morning somewhere, right?
Yes, right. And it's always good night somewhere.
Absolutely.
But anyway, how are you doing it there in sunny California?
Oh, I always say it's a beautiful day here in Southern California. It's truly amazing. I can't believe it's already been a week since we visited you last week. Lots going on, with the film. We're in production. We're actually doing Ann Hero. We talked about that last week, and so I was able to get on the set. Like you said, it's so fun to be on the set with Henning. It's amazing to see what's going on behind the scene, and then when you get to see the full picture, you're like, wow, I remember when I was there, and it totally looks different when it's on the screen. So it's amazing. Yeah.
Isn't that just amazing how they can take all of this cluster and clutter and everything going on, commotion going on all around you, and boom, it becomes this like, wow, where did that come from, that movie?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm standing by the lights, and I'm like, wow, you don't see that in the film, but there's like all these lights and these, the mics and all the booms and the scripts and everything. A lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes, but it's amazing when you see it after it's been, cut and everything like that. It's like, wow, that's what, and it's that vision, right? When it's all together, we don't see it. We see it in parts, but Henning sees the whole picture, right? And how we could bring it to life. I think it's pretty amazing.
It's kind of like the cameras they use, all the stuff going on. It's like that microscope, right? It's the microscope that just captures that moment. And you don't really see it with all the commotion going on, but Henning sees it. He knows exactly what he's catching. And guess who's in the house? Henning, beam on in. Beam up, as I say. Oops, beam up. Beam up. Yeah, you got your worker's cap on.
How y'all doing today? This is amazing. It's a beautiful morning.
Oh yes, it's actually absolutely gorgeous here too, and it's that pre-fall weather, where you walk outside and your lungs fill with that cool, fresh air. I just love it. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking, and thanks for having us on here today. I'm a little bit of a different look here because I'm on my phone actually. So just excuse the different look. This computer is just about out of use, and so we had a fantastic weekend. I know Michelle was sharing with you some of what happened. You guys can carry on. I was enjoying listening.
We were talking about being on set with you and how exciting it is, because we've heard from some of our listeners sometimes how, you can get out to LA and it can be so dangerous because you don't know who are the good producers. And there's some good and bad producers and directors out there. I'd like to think there's more good, but you can definitely count on the tribe where Henning is at. And it's a good tribe, healthy people. But let's talk about what you've been doing. Michelle shared with us that you've been on set since the last time I talked with you.
Yeah, we wrapped Ann Hero, which is a 30-minute action-packed adventure that is basically you have a suicidal kid, and he's having a terrible time, and you feel for him, and then he basically begins an adventure. He begins an adventure and a coming of age moments, life and death moments, and you know it. We've been entertained, we've learned a lot, and we are cheering for the heroes, and we're rooting against the villains. That's all I'm going to say at this point. I've already shared way too much, like in the past. Now I'm going to stop talking about like giving away the whole thing, because this will be ready to go in a couple weeks. So yeah, we filmed on our last 2 days of Ant Hero. That's the name of the film. We filmed, with Michelle and her group, and we had about 35 extras in that scene. We had it all up. It was really something else. They were crying. It was literally crying tears and obsessed. And in the scene, that's how you have to be in that scene. And it was just tremendous. Our actors just brought it like no end. And then we had a big party after. Big party. We had a big party. And we cooked and we ate healthy food, salads and vegetables and fruits and salmon and cupcakes and brownies and everything else. And then I went home and went to sleep. And then the next day we shot. We had to do a couple of last minute scenes from that didn't get to last time, plus a couple of new ones, and it was magical. So great several days. And then on Saturday we shot. Becca is in town. He's one of our rising star music artists, 19-year-old, phenom, philanthropist, straight A college student, and actor, singer, dancer, what have you. She was out here for being an hero. She has a role in Ant Hero. She plays the sister, but also we shot her rock opera on Saturday. So if you weren't busy enough finishing Ant Hero, we shot her. Michelle said, "I didn't know about that." Yeah, you didn't, because we didn't want to. She said, "You know what? That's enough. Let's get the B crew in here and finish this up." And we did that, and then we screened our feature film, Hit or Twist, for our producers and a couple of our actors. And it just was a joy, because they were blown away with the final production. And what's interesting, and I know you have another question, I can see it. I know what's interesting is that it requires so much. This process requires so much trust. It's like these actors are on a high wire. They're blindfolded. They don't even know if they have a net. And you're telling them, just take one more step. Just take one more step. And they don't see the end. Austin maybe more than anybody else, because he plays the lead. He plays Tiago Austin Reale, another fine actor, another 19-year-old kid who's just got so much talent. He's a stage actor, and now he's this is his first feature film. With the exception of Austin, because I required him to read the entire script backwards and forwards, and my novel backwards and forwards before we would even give him the part. If you're not willing to read this thing all the way through and answer questions like a test, then it's not for you, because he's got to know every scene, right? The actors that are brought in for the specific scene, they just need to make sure they get that scene right. And then when I ask them to do it again or do it a different way, or do the last time, then
oh dear, Henning, we lost your sound.
I know. I gotta go on different mode here. Can you hear me now?
Is that better?
Hello.
No.
No sound?
I tell you what, I
can hear you.
Yeah, we need to work on your sound.
I can't hear you from India.
Okay. One of the things I want to share with Henning is we've come up with some really cool new, what I call pod TV equipment. We've been researching what works, what doesn't, better lighting. And because, you want this experience to become a whole lot better if this is the world we're going to be living in for a while.
Absolutely.
And so we've been coming up, because sometimes just your speaker, not everybody's speaker works good from here. So we've been experimenting with some of our people who are real film directors and coming up with some new equipment. And so we're going to share it with people. But it's not bandwidth can be the biggest problem, right, Michelle?
Right. I mean, I've been experiencing that with I can't tell you how many times I've had my cable company come out and they're like, it's not them, right? But like you said, it's the time. So I was actually speaking with someone yesterday and it's like, well, there's like this little box you can get. So I'm going to do some more research, I always say it's not what we know, it's what we don't know. So I'm literally looking forward to you sharing with us, your tricks and hacks. Last week we did our movie night live and we were having you don't think about these things because I'm not in the movies, right? I'm learning about the movies, and I brought my laptop and not really realizing I needed another mic, because we did a live interview and people couldn't hear. So this time I'm going to be ready, but we learn as we go. And that's what I like about this space is that people are very forgiving because we're all learning together. So yeah.
Yes, that is true to what's going on right now, because I see a lot of the TV networks who at first claimed, oh, everybody's filming from home, but they were actually sending their film crew there, because I would catch the crews spanning the room where they were at. And I go, oh, that's cheating. But then somewhere somebody must have said, hey, we got to quit sending the crew out there because we might get COVID. We're not really being true to our word. So now they're all trying to do this, right? And it's been interesting.
We're not talking about COVID, are we?
No, not really. We're talking about the challenges of filming from home when you're used to a crew, right? When you're used to going on set, everything's set up for you. All you have to do is mic up, go ahead, mic me up, and you sit down, everything's done, right? And now, today you have to be the crew.
Yeah, we have to be our own crew. How far did I get? Where did I cut off?
So you were talking about Hero, and how this is what I like about you is how you had your lead read the book front and backwards and read the script, because there's a difference. People don't understand. There's the book and then there's the script.
Well,
bravo.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Now, that was for Hit or Twist, and that was Austin Reality. And the book, actually, the novel doesn't follow Hit or Twist. It's absolutely nothing to do with the novel. The novel gives the backstory of all the other characters that he's going to be interacting with. So it gives a different perspective. And I think we get him to it. And then also, it's interesting when we did the screening on Saturday, Aviva was there. Also, Becca was there. A couple of our actors who did not have that sense of the entire story. And I could see in their faces, like when their scenes came up, like they were so nervous, like they didn't even know how they were going to interact with everything else going on. I could see like the relief, Oh, okay, now I get it. And because you kind of go on blind faith sometimes because you don't get the whole story. And that was spectacular on Saturday. We got some good notes Saturday night. And now, try to take Sunday, Monday, take it easy a little bit, and then here we are with you guys on Tuesday. So now coming up to the American film market, we have now 3 movies to show distributors at the American film market, which is an annual event. It's the biggest marketplace for movies outside of the Cannes film market, which happens during the Cannes Film Festival. In France, this is the biggest one on this side of the Atlantic, really anywhere else in the world. And we have 3 films to bring to the American film market, and 3 films that are already out in the marketplace. So it puts us really, thanks to the tribe, thanks for all your support, those of you guys who are watching out there, and Kimberly, Michelle, and you guys. Now we have really 6 movies, 3 that are already out, and 3 that we're bringing to the film market. That are substantial movies, and now we're going to kind of get to 2021. We're going to kind of go like this a little bit. We're going to go like this because now we're a production company that has productions out in the marketplace released and also productions ready for distribution.
Wow, and that's unusual in this day and time, because there's just so many limitations. I know people who also work in other productions, and they've like canceled them, like no productions this year. And then I've seen other people like Kelly Clarkson did her show and everything. But let's delve deeper here, because you said I could see the question. And you know me, I've always got questions about what you're doing. But when you're interviewing the actors and actresses, I heard you say you made the lead go read the book and read the script and understand everything. But then you're saying some people don't. And is this because you really don't want them to know the whole story so that there's less likely of people going out and ruining the ending of the story? Or is this just, common way of filming that people just know their script and move on?
Oh, that's a very excellent question. I'm not as concerned with these actors like spilling the beans or like giving away the storyline. I'm not as concerned about that now. I'll probably be more concerned about that during the next one when we'll have a lot more potential of the storylines getting out before they're ready to get out. My main concern there's a couple of concerns with these actors. First of all, I don't want to dominate their time for a small role. It's not fair. It's not fair for me to have them do hours and hours and days of research on a role when they're only going to be in the movie for 5 minutes. So that's not fair for them time-wise. And then lastly, I don't want them to get so overwhelmed with the story that they don't zero in on what they need to do. And that's where the trust factor comes in. I will share with the actor once, we'll give them at first, when we first read, we don't tell them anything. We give them a very little bit. We just describe the character and we see how their personality is, how they see it, and then we ask them to do it in different ways. And you can tell right away if somebody is polished or somebody really needs a lot of help. You can tell by that first going. It doesn't mean that we won't work with them if they need a lot of work. It just means we know they're going to need work. So that's going to be time on our side that we're going to have to invest in this actor. And then once they pass kind of the first audition, then we will give them more of the backstory, and we'll have them bring it like we want them to bring it for the story. But it will still be very limited, and it will be only really what is important to that scene, and that's where the trust factor comes in, and that's where we all need to manage our time. Like how many? Remember, if you look at you haven't seen it yet, but if you look at the credits for Hit a Twist, they're like 19 to 20 years in open credits. It's crazy how many actors we had that are worthy of a co-starring role and worthy to be in the opening credits of this movie. So each of those people need attention and need to be communicated with for their role, and then, but really only for what they really need to know. And that's where, again, as I said, the trust factor comes in. You say, hey, look, do you have any questions? And if they don't, then at that point it's like, okay, just trust me on this. I know that you're delivering it the way you need it for this movie. And then when they do it, it's like a blind trust almost. Once they have their lines, they're going to do it not knowing like what the end result is even look like, because we don't really let them look at the camera, and sometimes we do, but it's just a distraction. It's a distraction. I just want them focused on what they have to do, and that's why when these screenings happen, and I always make sure my actors are some of the first people that see the cut, because I want them to have that level of satisfaction that they work hard, and it's like you work hard on the movie, especially the lead actors. They work hard on the movie for months, and then they don't even like get the satisfaction of like celebrating again because they don't see it. It's like when you win sports and you win when you win the trophy, you win the game and you get the trophy and you get it right then and there. With these films, you have to wait months and months to get the result and to get that level of satisfaction. So it's great to see Austin, how happy he was. And then Lydia's going to see the next one with Vivian this week. We're doing another screening this week. And we're going to do several. These are producer screenings where we're looking for problems. We're looking for problems in continuity, problems in the storyline. Are people getting lost during the story? Are they following? Are some of the scenes dragging on too long? This is where you kind of fine tune it. And the notes I got on Saturday were very promising. Even though I told everyone I really want you to tell me what is off in this movie, and I got just overwhelmingly positive response, which is good on one hand, but on the other hand, I don't know where to improve it if I don't have that constructive, critical feedback. So we're going to screen it a few more times, get that feedback, do our final, and in the process, we get to show the actors. And that's what's cool. We get to show the actors the final project. Chad is coming this week. He plays Luca. Johan is coming. He plays Brandon. Lydia is coming. He plays Sybil. We have several of the lead characters coming, watching the screening to give that feedback, but also so they can see result, the fruits of their labor.
That's the hardest part, is to find somebody who can give that good, healthy, constructive criticism, because you're the kind of person that everybody likes. Nobody wants to say anything, but the thing is that you put together a good first run. You really, really do. Your music is always good, and there's nothing wrong with a perfect first run. But if you're like me, I always know that there's got to be something wrong in there somewhere that we can fix. Whether the jacket was on in one scene and off in another. Just catching those little things. I've learned so much even about the attire that you do on the shows. I mean, movies, right? I just had no idea how much went into all the mind thought that goes into this when I walk on the set and you're going, no, not that. No, not that. All of these little elements. And I'm like, wow, I would have never caught that, right? Don't put your cell phone in your back pocket, because if they film you walking away and that's a time error that cell phones didn't exist, it's not going to look right.
You in my scene with your iPhone. What are you doing?
Right.
You have a question?
Good.
So, Henning, I'm a little concerned about the current pandemic, and then while doing the production and all those stuff, people are coming from different mindset because of what's going on. So, how you take care of that? With the actors, because they must be having some depressed mood, or how we can make it positive or stuff like that, because it should not reflect on the movie, basically.
That's a very good question, and I'm glad that you're not hesitant to ask me a question after I kind of went off a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I'm glad that you asked. Here's how we do it. This is it's more like you have to just be creative with how you approach this, how you approach the situation. On the one hand, we have to work and we have to create, and the best thing that one can do, and I say have to, we don't have to do anything obviously, but in order to keep your better mental health. And this is where I come from. I come from a perspective of mental health. My main concern is what's going on up here. And because what's going on up here is being neglected, in my opinion, right? So I always want to focus in on your mental health. And the best thing for you mentally is to get back to work and get back to producing and creating. That's what's best, right? And for us as a production company and as a tribe, it's my responsibility to make these movies the right way for the people who are backing us. And it's not just the money, because there are people that are backing the project that we don't even see. You'll see them at the end credits, and you see 100 people on the end credits. And you're like, man, you have a big credit list for this short movie. Well, because all these people were behind this movie. And I feel like as one of the producers, and all my producers feel the same way, from associate producers all the way on up to Barbara and Jeff, they feel the same way, and Drew, that we have a responsibility to make this movie. So we're going to make the movie. Let's just leave it at that. Like we're gonna make this happen. Right. We're gonna make this day happen. We're gonna make this production happen. And then on the other hand, we want to be responsible, not necessarily responsible health-wise, because we're always responsible health-wise. I'm always concerned about health and wellness, and I don't want anyone getting sick. I don't want the crew getting sick. I don't want my crew getting sick. I don't want the actors getting sick. I don't want anyone getting sick, right? So I'm not even looking at it from that perspective, because to talk about that's ridiculous. That's like saying I care. Of course I care. Of course I don't want people getting sick. My concern more than anything else on it is the fear that somebody else might have, right? Because of where they're coming from, because of information that they may have that's different from information that I have, or it could be that they're in the risk category, right? And you have to have that consideration. So making people feel comfortable, making them feel welcome, making them feel like, hey, it's going to be okay. Having that confidence level is very important. And then you do the simple thing: you take people's temperature when they get there. We make sure that people are, they have, anyone needs, to wash their hands. They have the cleaner right then and there. We shoot a lot outside, so anytime somebody lands in the dirt or lands in a pile of leaves or has to come out of a dumpster. Sorry, Tiago. Has to come out of a dumpster. You clean them up, okay, to make it right. And then lastly, you've got to consider the rules, and make sure you work within the rules. And in California, it's different in different parts of the country, different parts in the world. In California, each county kind of has its rules, and sometimes each city has its rules. So you have to consider, where are you? You know, what are you in Beverly Hills? Are you in Los Angeles? We were in Torrance the other day. It's different cities, right? Sometimes you're in Orange County. We filmed in Orange County on Saturday, which is a whole different set of rules. So you respect the rules as much as possible. And when I say as much as possible, meaning within like a reasonable level. And in every case, whenever I've had to film during these times, whenever I've had to film outside of a police station, where I could talk to the police, the sheriff department, and we talked about this on this, with you guys, either the sheriff's department or the local police, police department of Los Angeles. The sheriff's department handles some areas of Los Angeles, like West Hollywood. The sheriff's department also handles a lot of Orange County. And then I will go inside and ask, hey, we're going to be filming. We have a crew. They're not wearing face covering. Is this okay? Is this okay? And you ask permission. They say it's absolutely positively okay. And the reason, first of all, is that there are certain situations based on the rules that some people think, well, it's required to wear a face covering, but really the law isn't that it is. It's required to wear a face covering if you're going to be in certain proximity of somebody else, and if something else. And people take that as it's a requirement. Well, it isn't in this situation, because this is what we're doing. So, you just have to be careful, conscious, and I think that if you do all those three things, if you will handle all those three areas, then you can pretty much shoot what you need to shoot, and then go from there. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
It's common sense. And I don't know if you remember this, but in the very beginning of all of this, I tried to tell people, we can't afford for everybody to close down or stop productions or things like that. Set your own rules, set your own policies, and then go to the governor and say, this is how I plan on handling this. Can I open up? And a lot of people wouldn't do that. Henning, you did exactly that. You said, we're setting our own rules. We're setting our own boundaries. This is how we're going to do it. And we're confident that people with me are confident, and we're not going to, and then you ask the authorities. And I think that's the way all of us have to approach this, is take control of your own situation. Right. Be responsible for yourself, and it falls into place.
Right.
Bravo. And you got it filmed.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate that, and you're absolutely right. You make your own rules, and you need to be reasonable about things. But remember, it starts with the fact that we're going to do this. Like, we're going to be like with businesses, we're going to do business. We're going to do business, and whatever it takes, we're going to do business, and whatever's reasonable, we're going to do. And we've gone 6 months now. It's amazing that it's been this long, and we haven't had one incident, one issue. We haven't had one situation where an actor didn't want to come to set. We had to send somebody home. We didn't have one situation where anyone got sick. We've been filming for 4 years, and we haven't had one reported injury on any type of thing go wrong on any of our sets. Not one, ever. And
your drone had to go to the drone.
No, the drone. We had to have a moment of silence while the drone went to the drone hospital. But the drone hospital fixed our drone, and she was back up and running in no time. So aside from our drone, we haven't had any incidents, and you just do what you can. You're responsible, and you use reasonableness and logic. And again, if you do all of that, and even if you make a mistake, people will forgive a mistake if you do all of that. Jim Rohn used to say, hey, when you're doing events, and we learn this in the events business, when you're producing an event, and again, I want to talk about attention to detail here. I don't want to forget that you brought that up also. Have attention to detail when you're producing you make sure that the room is right. You make sure that the music is right. You make sure that everything is that when people get there, they're greeted and they're treated properly. Make sure there's enough food, enough drink, enough of everything. Make sure that audio, visual, all this working. If you will do everything, if you will prepare your speakers properly, what have you, if you will do your best to do everything the right way, then if something goes wrong, then you're more likely to be forgiven versus, there's no food out, the place is too hot, this venue stinks, these speakers are jerks, these people are not nice to me. And then if you do that, then they'll probably be upset, even if you do like one right thing. So that's how I see it. Just do it, do your best. And I feel for, and I don't want to get too far into this, but I just want to just communicate. And with all that said, it seems like I'm very happy about what's going on. I'm not happy about what's going on. I'm not happy about the situation. And I believe and I feel for my actor friends who were successful actors and now they can't work. It's just really successful producers. It's different for producers because they can produce other things, or they can pivot and go online, or they can give these actors, man. That's I have so many friends who are actors and musicians who can't perform, and that's what they love. And these actors who just want to be in shows, and now it's coming back, but we need to get back as fast as we possibly can. And I just want to, send out my love for all my actor and musician friends who are, who are kind of in limbo right now, and just invite them, come back. I'll put you in something quick. Well, I've been going as fast as I can. Come on, come back in. I'll put you in something quick.
I got an idea, Henning. I've got an idea. So
Yeah.
we're going to be airing a benefit for the victims of the California fires on September 26th. It's a musician benefit. And they're lining up all of these musicians actually out of California that do unique music. So maybe Drew Lane and Drew would like to, throw in one of their songs to go towards the benefit. And again, this is for the victims of the Cali fires.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to make sure that Michelle connects you with you directly and talk to him about what you're doing. He'll be down and support it, however. And for those of you guys who are watching, Drew Lane is our music director for all our movies. We've got 14,000 records. We've got a whole stable of young talent. And so, yeah, definitely connect with Drew on that. He'll be down to help in any way, shape, or form. And usually, when I talk about music and musicians with me, Drew, we work on everything together. So just work with him, and he'll plug some people. Dina should be part of that. Becca should be part of that. Aviva should be part of that. We should get them all kind of geared up for that. I would love that, and there's enough time now. So we can do that over the next few days.
Okay. So, yeah, they just approached us yesterday, and we said, yes, we'll do it, because we just love the mission. So it's going to be from 11 a.m. your time to 11 p.m. your time. So it's all West Coast production.
Let's have somebody come on. I'm sorry to step on you. Let's have somebody come on our Zoom session tomorrow evening or Wednesday at the movies and talk about that. Michelle, let's make sure somebody promotes that and talks about that.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll definitely make it this time. I didn't hear from Michelle last time, and so I had an emergency come up on Wednesday, and but I will definitely come on, or I'll come on, because I don't know that anybody else, because I know more about it. Hank and I only too. Hank's sleepy by then. So
I wanted to come. I wanted to join the Zoom session, but it's like wee hours for me. I sleep at 4 o'clock. So it's like difficult for me to join.
No, you can get up, Anki. Come on, you're a young man. You can get up. You set the alarm.
I sleep at 4 o'clock. And it's at 6:30. So I'm trying my best to do it, but I don't know.
I'm joking.
But Henning, I wanted to ask you something, because when you talk about the current pandemic, and we have a lot of production work and things like that, in the scenario, it's also, like a different way to monetize or maybe market your movies on digital media and all this stuff. So what are your marketing plans for, market movies on stuff like Facebook and all this stuff? Because that's pretty important now, because we want more eyeballs and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's a good question. If you want to say fortunately, I hate to say that word fortunately, but it really is the only word that makes sense for our situation. These were not intending for hit or twist or any of our movies, Street Chase, the ones that we're selling now, Street Chase, Hit or Twist, and Hero. We were not anticipating a theatrical release for those films. And I really feel for the production companies that had these theatrical releases all lined up. It's like a bloodbath, to that group of production companies. But we weren't in that situation. I guess fortunately for us, and our movies were geared towards online distribution, and festival submission distribution, and we have the the marketing plan that we had when we first started out is pretty much similar to what we have now, except that we anticipate being at the festivals, live at the festivals over the past few months. So the American film market, as I said, that runs every year, they're doing it online this year. Okay. Unfortunately, those guys had it down. They took over an entire hotel, huge hotel, the Rose in Santa Monica every single year. The entire hotel they turned into these offices, movie offices. It's really an iconic event. Now they're doing online this year. Nothing we can do about that, but the approach is very similar. We are looking at cable companies to buy these movies. We're looking at online streaming services to buy these movies, and it's not really affected by the current state of affairs with the theaters, but it does affect us with the festivals. So again, you pivot. My suggestion, I gotta run, and I'm gonna have Michelle show you guys some trailers and some of she's got some stuff lined up to show you guys. And I do want to talk about attention to detail before I go. Let me ask Henning.
I do want those details.
So important, yeah, so important for filmmakers. But in terms of mentorship in general, and what's best for you is to keep working, is to keep producing. That's what's best for you. So if you know, when I learned Spanish, this is crazy. This story is so old and I might as well tell it again. When I had to learn Spanish in Mexico, I was a public speaker. That was my job, right? And I traveled and all across the United States to doing it. I learned from the old guys. I told you guys about that, personal development, motivation. And when I had the opportunity to go to Mexico to do it and travel all through Mexico as a young single guy living in Acapulco, man, I said, I'm going to do that. I had a chance to live in Acapulco and travel through Mexico and be a speaker. This is great. But I had to learn Spanish, right? So I didn't speak Spanish before. So I had to learn. And what I really learned, and I had to learn fast because I had to learn my presentation, and then I had to learn my training, and then I had to learn how to speak. Like that was third. Like learn the presentation first. People would come up to me after the presentation and they would start asking questions, and I would just start pointing, like talk to Jose or like Maria. I don't understand anything you're saying to me. So in learning a foreign language quickly, there are many ways to say the same thing. There are many ways to say the same thing. Show rebelistic, the show rebelistic for sure, and also Destinova, please, Michelle. And there are many ways to say the same thing. You can say I'm going around the corner, or you can say I'm going to walk over there, then I'm going to walk over there, or you could say I am, I'm going to saunter to the corner, or you can say I'm going to gallop to the corner. People will understand what you're saying, and if you make it, you can change the words and you can change the approach, and people will get it. And one thing, when that process was going on, and I had to figure out how to say things differently, once I started actually speaking and answering questions, is that people will help you to get to where you want to go. Even I'd be on stage with 2,000 people, and I'd be like, "How do you say that? It's a sugary cold substance that has milk in it." And they would say, helado. And I would say, oh, yeah, ice cream. And so they'll help you. And this is key, right? Because it really did escape me. The simple word ice cream, which is one of the first things you learn, escaped me in the moment. They will help you. So in these times where everything shifted, everything moved around. It's like the world got thrown off its axis, right? Axis. And so a really healthy approach is just to make a decision. Say, I've got to work. I've got to create. I've got to produce. Bottom line. And then you say, okay, what happened that's not allowing me to do it this way? And then figure out another way to do it. Figure out another way, because there is another way, and that other way, oh man, because you're open, Ankit, right? Because you're open to, I must produce. You already opened up your brain to whatever. If you have to do it, then you have to do it, right? And then you open up, and then that creative alternative, check this out, it could actually be better than what you were already doing. Oh my God. And if you could do that, then like you're juiced, right? You're like, man, I created something better than I would have created because I and then people who know, just like with language, everybody in that room, 2,000 people, know Spanish, right? And they will help you. So you go to where the creative part is, and you get help, and now you have another tribe helping you. So people used to love to hear me speak, and I say that humbly. Maybe they did it. Maybe they just somebody paid them to be there, but I think they showed up because I got them involved. They felt like they were helping me, and then I made it part of my whole thing, right? So they're involved in helping, and that's where you bring new tribe members on. You bring on new creative ways to do things, and you experiment. But the key is you keep producing, and that feeds your mental health. And then by feeding your mental health, you stay sharp. And then when things will pass, which they will, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Things will get back to normalcy, or when I say normalcy, to reasonableness. Let's put it that way. They'll get back to reasonableness. It has to. There's an adjustment that needs to happen, and it's happening. But in the meantime, you can really become creative in a way that you couldn't before. So that I want to just stress that point for those of you who are dealing with. We're all dealing with it, and the people who have that approach are killing it right now. And the people who don't, people who are shut down, then they're suffering more than they need to right now. Okay, last thing I want to talk about attention to detail, because this is so important to get back to it. Like I did you're microscope. So that last little talk was kind of for everybody, like in this situation for filmmakers, right? For filmmakers.
Pick you up.
Yeah, pick me up. For filmmakers, the process of paying attention to every detail is so important. If you care, because whenever you set that frame, and whenever you say action, and then when you cut it, and when you wrap it, that's it. You to go back and recreate that is virtually impossible. So the key is when you're there to get it right. And don't be shy to say, "Hey, there's a eyelash hair on your shoulder. Let's get it off of there." And then people look at you like you have three heads. Like, what do you care about the eyelash hair on the shoulder of my thing? Well, because when you blow it up to a 40-foot screen, you're going to see that, and that's going to mess up your thing, right? Cell phones in pockets. Trying to do a retro piece when you're working outside. Try that in California when you're supposed to be in New Jersey and you're in California. Try that one, right? You get trained to pay attention to those details. And when it comes time, again, filmmakers, content, media creators, when it comes time to edit, you're going to be so happy that you did it, because you can never go back. And now you got to fix what you didn't fix. And then you may have to trash that clip. You may have to trash that whole scene. And what a shame if you got it right, because somebody was walking around with a phone or with something modern that you didn't want to see, or there's a palm tree right there, and all you had to do was move the camera, and you could have avoided that. So my point in sharing that with you is attention to detail is critically important. If you want it to be great, attention to detail is so important. And don't be shy. And when you're directing these movies, everybody's counting on you to get that visual right. They're counting on you. There isn't anyone else, because everyone's got their job that they're doing, and it's your job to make sure that every detail is handled. And if you do it, then you'll be happy. And even if you have to cut it, reshoot it again to get it right, it doesn't matter, right? Somebody gets frustrated, too bad, right? It's not your problem, right? Because and here's another key. If you did it, sorry.
Henning, we can't hear you.
We're going to work on that.
Yeah, it's because I'm on my phone. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me now okay or no? Okay, I'm coming back in. How about now? Okay, no? Yes?
Poquito, poquito.
How about now? Is that better? Poquito, is that better?
Let's speak
We all back
on.
on now?
Mucho trabajo, but poquito, poquito.
Okay. So I wanted to make sure that okay, you got it? No? Okay, you guys go. I'm going to turn it over to Michelle. Michelle's going to take it from here. She's going to show you Rebelistic. She's going to show you Desanova. And I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night at movie night, 6 p.m. Bye for now.
But before Henning, you leave, our viewers would like to know one thing: that how can they buy the poster which is right behind your wall? Can they buy the posters?
Your posters.
The posters?
Yeah, can they buy the posters?
Well, nope, they're not for sale.
We'll had somebody ask.
Maybe that's an opportunity. We'll create.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Let's set up Michelle.
I got it.
Let's set it up.
Product.
Selling
gets money.
the posters. All right, guys.
And somebody asked about.
Thank you again, Michelle. Take over. I'll leave you guys for now. Bye bye.
Sure. Okay.
Bye. It's hard. We're gonna fix that one day.
Yeah.
We're gonna get all of that fixed for everyone. But Michelle, we've done all the talking. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you. And just love hearing Henning talk, and just all the questions you guys ask are just amazing, So, yeah.
It's amazing to me, all the things that he has to do. And at the same time, one day I'm going to ask him this question about balancing, right? Because you're a mom, right? And you've got to balance your work and being there and then be a mom. And this morning I was talking with Henning. And I go, how are you doing? He goes, I'm playing football with my boys before they go to school. I go, yeah, you got to squeeze that in, right? You got to stop. Yeah. And I know Henning well enough to know that he's usually up really early and on the phone working, right? So then you got to balance. Okay, time to play with the kids, time to send them off to school, and so a lot of things goes on. And Ankit knows this, and so he doesn't just work 24 hours a day. He's a dad, and and you do the same thing. But that's what this movie making is all about: is making those sacrifices, right?
Right.
So that we can produce things. But you've got a video for us to use, correct?
Yep. Right here.
Thank you.
Right here.
Henning. I get my popcorn.
Talk to you about this little thing we call decisions. Same prestigious career level on the juvenile delinquency ladder of success. Tell me it wasn't you. I didn't know you got interested in that. You're doing a real job. This is my job.
No wonder organized crime is starting to infiltrate this once quiet suburb.
I'm sorry. Things got sketchy. We'll get him. You always get him eventually.
That scene just always, to this day, always gets me. I don't know how many times I've seen it, and I just and I always kind of slightly jump when it's like, wow.
Yeah, I always say it's intense. That's my word. It's such an intense moment in the movie. So, I remember when we streamed it on our movie night. We saw the whole thing, and it was like, wow, it was amazing. So, and just to see that it's evolved, because I know that he remastered it from the first time, and it's the music, it's the cars, it's going back to the '80s, because I grew up in the '80s. So it was just really amazing.
And when,
Time to play the next.
when you're filming that, you can't just film a Tesla driving by during that time, right?
You guys ready for Destinova? Come on, I can't hear you. You guys ready for Destinova? Right. So here we go.
Oh, hello. My name is Lori. I'm here to help tell this little ditty.
Wake up. Let's go.
Holy shit, this place is real?
That twist in the parking lot. That twist in the parking lot. She didn't want to buy it because she said it was hot. She didn't want to buy it because she said it was hot.
What makes me qualified? Well, this story is about my friends. The dirt merchants were born to run wild. If forced to remain indoors, they would have behaved like mad dogs fighting over a ribeye. If there was ever a star-crossed couple that could measure up to Romeo and Juliet, Belle and Spencer would be the one. Spencer had the potential to be the best ever.
A freight train, baby. Some Russian jalopy.
Wow. And I was there when they filmed
Amazing.
some of those scenes, and that was it's pretty amazing how he took all of what was going on in that scene and he was able to focus it in on what needed to be in the movie. That's what is amazing to me.
Yeah, I was in one of the scenes like last year. What he does is he kind of multi-purpose. So one of the scenes that we did where we did a video, then we did the Family Film Festival. I mean, not Family Film Awards that evening. So, I mean, it's just amazing. He just gets everyone together, gets the tribe together. We filmed a video like early morning. We were at the hotel at Universal Hotel. And then that evening, we chipped in as a tribe. We helped out at the Family Film Festival with Dr. Olympia. And so it was just really amazing that how Henning, not only are we a tribe like making movies, but we are helping out in the community too. So we do that also.
No, it's great, and I know that he will make sure all of this keeps going and promoting where it needs to go, but it has not helped the industry with all the festivals not doing what they usually do. It's very hard to host those on a Zoom. It really is. The interaction when I met Henning at the Sundance Film Festival was very new to me, and it was very exciting, right? I go to a lot of conferences, but you need that. You need that networking, that one-on-one meeting the person who actually did this. So I'm excited to see how Henning's going to start doing some of the promoting, because I know he's just not going to sit still. I mean, if I know Henning, he'll go out and start his own event. I mean, if South by Southwest ain't happening, I'll host one. I mean, that
Yeah, definitely being creative and thinking out of the box during this time. I mean, that's how our movie night started because originally we were going to the festivals and right. I mean, we had it planned and everything, and so we just had to pivot and evolve. And we didn't even know. I think we're going on our 23rd week. We didn't even know it was going to last that long. You know, it was just and having an idea, and it's been pretty amazing that we're just able to do that. Wow, like I said, as the world kind of stopped, but we're still, being creative and thinking of ways that we can still share our message and as Henning said, still work, so it's been
Well, and
amazing.
that's one thing that I guess Henning and I are alike in many ways, and I know we're going to have to wrap up here in a minute, but is that we both want to make sure people are employed.
Yeah.
That's just our big heart for whatever reason. Sometimes I could use it, but for some reason I feel like if I reach out there and start spinning that wheel, it all kind of comes back, right?
Right.
But I like the fact that that's his concern, as well as just keeping people's spirits up, and that's something Henning has always done. That from the time he was very young, he learned how to motivate people, and that's a tough job to do because you're hit every day with a lot of negativity, and you have to be creative to get out there and just. I call it so. Henning would get everybody to go and just jump, 1, 2, 3, jump, and I would call it the Henning hop. I know I say this all the time, but I call it Henning hop, right? And we're going to have to get him to do this sometime. And I'm going to have to dig around and see if I can find the video on the Henning hop. But those are just some of the things that make it fun to be on set. And again, if you ever get a chance to go on set, I highly recommend it, because when you see what's on set and then what the movie makes, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Like, it just blows your mind. And doesn't it, Michelle?
Yeah, it does. I mean, and sometimes the sets are like really long, the days might be long and it's just amazing, like to take, 1 minute or shot took a whole day to get it, but
7 hours, 7
Yeah.
hours, one scene, but they got it and they got it right. Or he'll film it like 50 different ways, right? And but that way he's got the same people, same clothes, same day, same shave, same, whatever. And to watch the makeup girls and the hair girl, I mean, to watch all of this on set is just, it's, wow, you can appreciate it later, right? What they do. But let's talk about the movie night, which is tomorrow night.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, so we have music, we have our film clips, and then we also were launching our empowerment. So for speakers, as you were saying, the world changed for speakers, empowerment speakers, because there's no more live stages. So we're actually, that's part of our platform now. And so actually, Dr. James Dentley is going to be our featured speaker tomorrow night. So we're excited about that. And then we're going to have some of the Ann Hero cast back on. And then we have some authors who actually I'm part of a book called Daily Declaration. And it's about, it's an uplifting book. It's a 365 daily devotional that they're going to be on also. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And it was geared towards, this was last year we wrote the book, but, mental health and depression. And so it's just timely. We never knew, it was going to be, such a time as this, but, it's going to be a fun night. You just come, enjoy the night. And I like how you have it, Kimberly, bring your popcorn, right? And just join us. It's going to be exciting.
Hey, I got my prop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. But it's always an honor. And we're looking for you also, Kimberly, to, I know you talked about the International World Peace. So I'd love for you to talk about that tomorrow night. And then I was, actually the fires, I was part of that scene. So I'm really thankful that you're going to be honoring and doing that regarding the California fires because, Ventura County part of that.
We're
So
honored that people reach out to us while we're growing, and but we want to be part of those things. This is what I tell people: there's no opportunity for events, so let us be your distribution stream, and it's growing. And I think the whole world wants to help California right now, right? Everybody that comes on our show, it's always a concern, from Hong Kong to Malaysia to South Africa. I mean, people all out about California. So
Thank you so much. I mean, it's just, it's just really kind of shocked, but it's just an honor that we think that, we honor these times when, and it's sad, but then this is when we come together too. It brings us as humanity together. So I
That's
really
right.
appreciate it.
That's right. That's what we these little
But
signs.
Michelle, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something because people who are living in US, they might not aware about it, but a lot of people who are living outside US, the first news they wanted to watch, apart from what's going on in the country, is about US. They want to know what's happening in US, what's going on,
Wow.
what kind of problem they have, and all that stuff. Because that's what people they wanted to follow about US. And when it talks about California, it's very important because everyone is using Facebooks and Apples and all those stuff, and they know that those companies are from those areas. So they're a little more concerned about that. So I think we can unite and plan and do something which is very, good for humanity, and we can try to sort out this issue so that it never happen in future. But the best way is that to make
That's what I love about it too. You guys bring the real, the real news. What's really happening. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Thank you. We try to do it without controversy, right? Like we have a political morning, and it's all the politics without the none of the sabotaging and the investigative digging. It's all about the real news. Here's the data. Here's what happened. No commentary whatsoever. We might talk about it, like answer questions from India. They go, well, why are they doing this? But we don't. We try not to do that. And then we have American Politics on Sunday night, and you would love it. The first show was an interview with a woman who ran for president. And she talked about the history. She has an organization that is for women leaders and helps them get into leadership roles that they want to be. If you want to run for president, they'll help you do it. They don't care what party you're from, what political. And we talked about last Sunday, and it's on video on demand. We taught the women in history.
Oh, I would love to.
And
week is women. I'm featuring women next week on our movie nights. I would love to check that out.
You need to talk to Rosie Marie because, and I just gave away who it was. But one of the things that it was just so beautiful to me. We talked about the first African American woman who ever ran for president back in 1972, and we talked about Chisholm. So see, and if it's in the National Geographic a lot, but she's got a long history of all the women. The first woman who ever ran for president. She talks about them, but talk about empowering. When you look back at when women really were trying to step up and take leadership roles, and how some of these women actually won whole states while they were doing these things. I just didn't know. I was too narrow-minded. But if you get a chance, and maybe we can connect her with you for the women night because it's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. I would love to be so honored. I'm definitely going to look at the episode because I love history. So
we'll share it with you. It's on our video on demand link, but it's American Politics every Sunday night. We're interviewing real stories, just like Henning, real people, the real story from the horse's mouth. This is what I tell people because I get tired of hearing people cut and clip interviews and mix it up. I don't like that. I want the real, and that's what we're doing. That's what we do. There we go. Look at our International Day of Peace.
Yes.
I will see you tomorrow night.
Yes, thank you. You guys have a good one. Thank you for having us again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
God bless.
God bless.
Well, I'm Michelle.
Hey, you missed the Rev films.
I know Michelle from. I've known Michelle for about 1.5 years.
Okay, from Rev Share.
Mm-hmm.
So the dollar store, love the dollar store. So
right.
You. Yeah.
There you go. And share node before that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So talk about a small world in business, right?
Oh, it is. And before Michelle gets off, how are you doing out there with the fires, Michelle?
Oh, yes.
I've been very fortunate right now that it hasn't hit, it's kind of a little smoky, but it's not real close to me right now. So, but definitely keeping everyone else in prayer. So, yeah.
Well, I was talking to Steve Romano the other day, he has to have his lights on. This is a friend, another person that Michelle and I know. And he has to have his lights on all day because it's so dark up in San Jose. So
he's about
anyway.
8 hours from me. So yeah, I just it's that season again. So I'm so happy that IBM-TV is going to be hosting an event, like you said, on the 26th for the victims, because it is tragic.
Yeah, we've got a director who came to us and asked if he could use our platform to host a benefit for the victims of the fire.
Oh, wow.
And
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's 11 a.m. West Coast time to 11 p.m. West Coast time. We'll keep running it and, but there'll be a donation line set up. They've got it all. They're doing all the hard work. We're just providing the platform and the crew to make sure it airs. And, like I said, anything we can do to help the victims, we're here. So
much. Appreciate it. All right. Well,
take care, sweetie.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Michelle.
She's such a blessing. And I know Henning is so blessed to have her. So
she's a wonderful lady. I actually met her in person for the first time at one of Henning's events in Las Vegas last in July. I think it was July, but I can't remember. I do remember it was hot.
There you go. It's hot in Vegas. Okay, that's a competition though.
And he had me on duty to sit by his Chevelle, which the '67 Chevelle that he has that's in some of his movies. So he had me sit outside. I think it was from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. I mean, he could have picked 9 o'clock at night. It would have been a lot cooler, but and we had sport coats on and stuff like that. So it was a little hot.
Wow.
But I've always needed him because he has this great Chevelle, and it's an automatic shift rather than a stick shift. And in 1967, Chevelle should have a stick shift, but
I agree.
Yeah, but anyway, so be it.
Was it a makeover or is it?
Oh no, it was an original. It's his car.
Wow. Wow. I mean, like you said, normally that was a shift gear or a shift gear, not a automatic. Right. Is it in the floor or is the automatic?
It's on the floor. Okay. I think they really stopped doing the column shifts before you were born, Kimberly.
No, I had a column shift. I had a Cadillac column shift in 1980.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's sort of unusual.
Cadillac, right? It's an Oldsmobile, right? So no, I've had plenty of it. Yep.
I drove that car in US. I mean, my cousin had a car, some kind of a van, which have gear right here on the left side, and I used to drive that as well.
Really?
There you go. So Ankit driven them. So
Ankit knows that. Yeah, my very first car. It was funny. My father said, "Okay, you got a job this summer. If you want a car." I was a junior in high school. He said, "You can buy a car." So I spent $150. I bought a 1952 Ford. Okay, column shift, and it was a stick shift, not an automatic. So he followed me driving it home from where we picked up. Fortunately, I survived. And the next day, I had to go to work, and there was a big hill, and there was a traffic light at the top of the hill. And I thought, oh no, don't stop at the traffic light. Don't stop at the traffic light. Well, I did, and I thought I was going to roll backwards and hit the car behind me.
Oh no! Oh no! I just miss those old cars, though. I know they're not gas.
You know that, I mean, a lot of car shows are very popular in India, especially from America. Shows who produce from Los Angeles. There are a lot of people who make a lot of old cars into new cars and assemble and all those stuff. So those shows are very popular on Netflix and Prime, and people watch in India like anything. I mean. They're crazy about it. Yeah.
They love those cars. So amazing. My first car, if I had it today, I think that Judy and I bought right after we got married was a 1968 Barracuda, a Plymouth Barracuda. And that car today, if I still had it, would be worth over $80,000 because it's a very rare car. So, but anyway, so be it. You know, hindsight is always 2020, right, Alexandra? And she's almost not even old enough to have hindsight.
Well, she's a perfect sight though with those beautiful glasses.
Oh yeah.
I do want to share. My first car was a 1979 Mustang that I dearly loved, and you know, it was I think 5 on the floor, and that thing could go, and it was not a good car to give a teenager. But I was very responsible and took awesome care of it. I could work on the engine. But one day it broke down on me, and I pulled it off the side of the road, and I managed to get home. Yeah, I walked home from there, but a drunk driver hit it.
Oh.
If I had been in the car, he would have killed me. It would have. He hit it with a big truck, and those were solid metal Mustangs back then.
Mm-hmm.
But he crushed the back side all the way. The gas tank was in the front seat.
Ooh.
And so they told me if I had stayed in the car waiting for somebody, we didn't have cell phones back then, so I had to get out and walk, right? So they had told me if I had still been in the car, I wouldn't be here today. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
But it was oh gosh, I love that car, and I never could find another one like it. It just, I ended up, but anyway, let's talk about something happy. I was happy I was alive, but that was my favorite, favorite car.
The happy moment is that there's a surprise for Lynn Shepard. I'm not sure how he will react, but I will just.
Oh yeah, we got a surprise for you, Lynn.
Hi, my name is Lynn Shepard. Our family owns an online dollar store, family.dollarstore.com. We have over 4,300 items on our site, quality items, and a lot less expensive than you might find wherever you're shopping, including on Amazon. We deliver for free if you spend $25 or more. And we also have a gift token program. Now, gift tokens are just like gift cards that you would get to shop at CVS, Target, Macy's, or a lot of other stores. And when you sign up to become a customer, you immediately get $5 worth of gift tokens to be able to use before you even make your very first purchase. So we encourage you to sign up to become a customer. We are here because we are supporting a not-for-profit, Money Masters PBS. Money Masters PBS owns IBM TV. Now, the mission of Money Masters PBS is to narrow the gap between poverty and financial sustainability. Wow.
It looks amazing.
Wow.
Very nice, Lynn.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you. That's cool. I like that. So I should have done what I saw the video on Peace Day this morning. What a wonderful video that one is. That 5-minute video. I love that. And of course, I was trying to say that again, Lynn, conspicuously absent because I failed to do my video, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We can do it now. Lynn, you can submit it today as well, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll do it.
That day, because
in fact, you know that, Alexander also didn't submit the video. So you're on the same boat.
Yeah, we should do it. I didn't see Alexandra there either. But look, you don't want me on that video. You want Alexandra on the video.
Oh, because we're both doing it.
Because, well, wait a minute. But she shows a little better than I do. But that's beside the point.
But you look great. You look amazing. I mean,
thank you.
Like that video is like top notch.
Well, thank you. So I think of a couple of things we should add, because we should have put, go to the IBM TV website and click on the big green button.
So what happened is that there was a lot of issues with the voice and all those things. So while we integrated, it's not working out well. So maybe we need to record some more portion so that we can work.
Okay, I can do that. Maybe I'll do both of them this afternoon. Yep. So, but I got to do my income taxes. Remember that, Kimberly. I don't file until October 15th. I haven't for 40 years because I used to have a tax return that was about this thick. Anyway, and now I've sort of gotten in the habit of just put it off until the last minute.
It's not one of those things I care to do, and I guess nobody does. If you maintain your books, I've kind of faltered this year. I didn't do my Mondays. Like every Monday, I would have do my accounting, and I kind of failed during COVID. COVID kind of ruined it for me. I shouldn't blame it on COVID, but I've really been busy. But you know what I've noticed? Alexandra looks like an actress today.
She does.
Beautiful, but she looks like Audrey Hepburn to me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Audrey Hepburn.
Look at this studio.
Audrey Hepburn is my icon of icons. I literally have paintings that friends have given me. I have pillows. I have books of Audrey. I've got movies in the year order of Audrey Hepburn books. I love Audrey.
Wow. Yeah, she was great.
You've got this classic look about you always, but today in particular.
But Kim, Kim, in 2025, we'll be doing the piece, and then we'll talk about Alexandra the Star, who is a famous star of Hollywood. So that might be possible. So we need to.
You know what? We're going to invent a new wood. Because Hollywood is U.S. and Bollywood, and so we're going to invent a new wood. I don't know, IBM wood. We got a Raleigh wood too, by the way, but it's not.
Well, Cadillac had a wood also. They had a Fleetwood.
Fleetwood, there you go.
There you go.
That sounds like a band.
What about the real wood?
Doesn't it, Alexandra?
The real wood.
The real wood. So, Alexandra, how is it going in your neck of the wood?
South Africa. We're good. Yeah, we're surviving. The president, I think we're about to go into our level 1. So we start in level 5. We work our way down. I think the States is the opposite.
Yes.
So we're in level 2 right now. So I think we're about to hit level 1, which is very exciting. And the only reason we were going to hit level 1 is because it would be less than 1,000 cases a day, and we're hitting like 600 to 500 cases a day. So So happy. Life's getting back to normal. Finally getting back to, like, the music industry is finally coming back. Like, people are playing gigs. There's live music in places. It's so nice. I still don't go out. Like, I'm very much a homebody, but there are live music venues that are opening up again, and my friends are like, COVID's been tough for the musicians because they've literally had to sell their gear to eat, and now they're finally able to gig again. So it's absolutely amazing. So I'm very, very grateful that the world is getting back to some kind of normality, but we'll see what happens. We'll give it a month. Maybe things will go back.
I like this normality, but I'm glad to see too that you're taking some precautions, because there's no reason to get out there and do something if you don't have.
Oh no. I don't. I'm very happy to not leave the house, to not hug people. I'm not that sort of person anyway. Like, I'm very much a homebody anyway. So this is normal life for me. But it is. People don't leave home. If only if you need to. My parents are both over the, I think the age bracket is 50 to or 40 to 70. That's the dangerous bracket. My parents are both in that bracket, and I live in an apartment, but I live with them. So every precaution to make sure that I don't give it to them firstly. So yeah, rather stay at home, and I can make music here. I mean, I've got my little. I'm fine. I'll just live here. I'll just live here.
She's happy in her little cubbyhole.
I got plants growing everywhere. I got fairy lights. I am so happy here.
She's got her microphone.
I got my mic. I'm happy. I got my Audrey Hepburn book. I'm happy.
Do you have those delicious cupcakes?
My mom baked a carrot. Oh, she baked. So she's been baking throughout. I mean, my mom has always been a great baker. But throughout COVID or lockdown, she's really been baking. And the other day, she baked the winning carrot cake. And there are only a few slices left. And I've just had my dinner. So for dessert later, I'm going to have some more carrot cake. Oh, gosh, I love carrot cake.
I remember the first time I met you on something like this, and you were just enjoying a cupcake. And
I was. That's the problem with me. I'm always eating. That's the problem. I'm always
Days are
eating.
tiny. I guess it's your active life and busy
Or
and
stress. This is stress.
yeah. So, but let's talk about de-stressing, about some of your music and your show. How's your show coming along?
Gosh, I think I'm on this week, episode 22. So, I mean, it's been a minute, right? Like it's been a minute, and I'm so chuffed. Like it's just kept going, and people are really loving it, especially the people in South Africa, because my goal with this, and you know this, Kim, was to always bridge the two worlds, because I believe that South Africans have so much talent and have so much potential, but I hate that word potential, and I hate the word like exposure, because it doesn't add value. It doesn't give the art form value. But if I can add value in another way to South Africans and their careers and their artistry by giving them a link to the outside world, the rest of the world, then that makes me really happy. And that's essentially what the show is doing. So like to have my South African friends on the show, with somebody in Nashville, with someone in Sweden, with someone in the UK, is just incredible for them, because they're like, wow, we're able to connect with people that we would never have been able to connect with, and they're building relationships. I mean, I'm all about writing. I have at least on Zoom or Skype, however we choose, 3 or 4 writing sessions a week with someone overseas. And that's just been my life. I mean, even before COVID, to have these writing sessions, but to give other people the opportunity to build their connections themselves is so cool. So yeah, I'm having fun doing the show, and I think people are liking it. Like we've got like a real fan base. People like really come in and comment, and they have genuine questions.
You know, I'm one of your number one fans, Alexandria. I pop in
I
there and
know,
talk to you
Mark,
all the
you
time,
are.
so it's great. And you just have some amazing guests, whether
there.
it's those Nashville folks or the folks, like you said, from South Africa and other parts of the world. So I've really enjoyed meeting a lot of your friends and acquaintances and cohorts in the musical community. I actually had one of them, the gentleman from Fame, on my show. So after he was on your show,
Christian, yes.
I told him that I'd like to have him on, and he was a great guest. So definitely, I'm just glad to meet a lot of folks. It's been a pleasure meeting you through IBM.TV, but also meeting some of your friends and always chatting in, letting folks know that I'm watching. I know Zach does the same. So we're just part of a big musical family here. I know we've got that musical thing going on, the big music marathon that's going to support folks in the West Coast, in California and everything. But, you know, we've been talking about folks that we need to get involved in that. So I know that I've been reaching out to chairman of the board, so hopefully they're going to join us. And I was telling Ankit, we need to find some way to get you and some of your folks involved as well, if it ain't nothing but a clip or something like that. But we definitely got to find a way to make this a global music marathon. So I know that that's something that I'm looking forward to, and looking forward to trying to line up some folks. We've started that group on Facebook, and I've already heard from a couple of folks, including a jazz musician from here. So I mean, in North Carolina. So definitely looking forward to seeing some great music to support the music community, but also support the folks that are going through that hardship over there in California.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's so good to see these programs coming up in when I say programs, like these sort of initiatives coming up for the musicians, because I feel that it's not an industry that's undervalued at all, because I think we all know the value of a great album in the car, you know, driving down that road. We all see the value of it. But I think that, like, often musicians are not paid because of that wonderful E word, the exposure word. And there are so many things when it comes to, I know that like copyright's now a big word that's happening on Facebook and all, you know, like there's a whole lot of craziness, but it's so important as an artist to have your work protected. And it's so great to see these things coming up, and to see that people value the industry, that they do, like with the marathon, we do want to support artists because we do see your value. And there, like you were speaking about positivity and light, Kim, that's what music and the entertainment industry is. It gives you that escape. And it's light, and it gives you an opportunity to say that I may not be able to necessarily hold your hand right now, but I'm there. I feel you. I got you, boo. I know exactly what you're going through. And I had a guest on 3 weeks ago, and he's a really, really great friend of mine. I've known him in my church circles for years. Like, he's got 2 kiddies, and like he's known me since I was a kid. And he said to me the other day that he's not a big muser. He's a blogger, and he blogs about music and up and coming things. But on 2 separate occasions, 2 different people came up to him and said that your music prevented me from committing suicide. And that's like, to hear that, I would take that over any music nomination. Like, I would take that over. Yeah. It's incredible. So it's so amazing to see that people appreciate.
Yeah, one other quick thing. I don't know if y'all can see this, but I know that we're also doing the World Peace Day, and I believe this gentleman will be actually one of the guests. And this is that old-fashioned thing called records, the old LPs and
I
things
love
of that nature.
vinyls.
But that is actually Stevie Wonder, and I think that if I remember correctly, he is one of the guests that is appearing from the group that we are teaming up with. So I think I heard Nick say that Stevie Wonder and Ringo Starr and a number of others will be appearing. So I just wanted to let folks know that there are still a few of us that owe those old things like albums. So that was an album, and that was a Stevie Wonder album.
So Mark, I think you're ready for the Peace Day with all your saves and everything done. Is that so?
Yes, I went and got cleaned up, went to go see the barber, wanted to look more better and everything for the Peace Day. So I did go see my barber yesterday, and it was a great visit. As we know from conversations with Bill Tresvant and others, it's always a good conversation when you get to visit the barber, because a lot of times that's where you get to find the community news. So I ran into an old friend and got to check up with them and just had a good old time. So definitely went and got the haircut.
Therapy and gossip in one
how
session.
about a clean shave? How about a clean shave?
Full shave, I don't know about that. I still like the beard and everything. So a full piece shave, I'm not ready to go there.
So my barber, who passed away sadly last year, was a classical music fan, and I'm all about classical music, except the modern classical. But anyway, so I would walk in and say, "Have you heard this one?" And he'd put on the music, and so it was great. I miss him. I mean, I knew him for 45 years, so or maybe 47 actually. So and we always had great conversations. And the guy that I now go to, who was his partner, always used to laugh and call me this German, because I love German music like Beethoven and Brahms.
Do you?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I used to, that I was trained classically.
Were you?
And so I sang opera from a teen till like 17 or so. So I sang opera, and my dream was to go to Juilliard and become an opera singer. But I love German opera. It's beautiful.
I think, as Kimberly knows, my brother actually went to both Curtis and Juilliard. And
really?
Oh yeah, he was in the Tchaikovsky. He's a pianist. He was in the Tchaikovsky competition, and also was second in the Leeds competition. He's played all over the world, and including well before you were born, in Johannesburg several times. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
But that anyway, connection to even barbershops are interesting. My former barber that was at one of our universities here in North Carolina Central, he actually was a gospel singer. So, and he's still a gospel singer, still performs regularly on the gospel front locally, and has had a couple of original songs that he's done. So I'm gonna actually try to get him on one of our shows in the near future. But it was just really interesting because he was the barber there. There was a woman barber, and a lot of times they would jive at each other and everything, and kind of like take little playful tips and tats at each other. But it was just really fun going into that barbershop and hearing them go at each other. He had something called like the Gentleman's Club, and of course she was a woman, so she was not trying to hear about the Gentleman's Club, and was definitely giving us a hard time about even creating that Gentleman's Club and everything. So she was having fun. Unfortunately, trying to remember her name, but unfortunately she's passed away. But he is still around and still very much involved in the barbershop field.
Wow.
What reminds me with the music and everything, and you guys talking about barbershops and music, is the barbershop
I have to
trio musicians, right?
Oh.
They were always beautiful
Yeah.
to listen to. Lynn has to go. He had a hard stop. So, but always enjoyable to have Lynn come join us and share with us what's going on in his neck of the woods. And,
Yeah.
you know, so one of the things I wanted to share with you, Alexandra, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
On September 26th, we've been asked to host a day of music from 11 a.m. Western Coast time to 11 p.m. Western Coast time. And the whole day is unique musicians, right? Unique music. And the benefit is for the California fire victims.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
a lot of the victims are musicians that have lost their studios, and they're actually coming out. You know, they've lost a lot of them have lost their instruments, their studios, and things like that. So a lot of them, somebody is giving them a place to perform. And what we're doing that whole day is just raising money, awareness, and things like that. So if you want to participate, I'll connect you with the coordinator. So
What do you mean if I want to participate?
Wait a minute. Oh, why haven't you connected me?
What do you mean if? What's if?
Now, Alexandria, I thought I had already alluded to that you were already going to participate. I thought that you already made that established that she's always going to participate in anything that's musically oriented. Isn't that right, Alexandria? If you can do it, you're going to do it.
I'm there.
Well, I'm so excited. So I should have just gone ahead and sent you the invitation, but this all happened yesterday afternoon. Like they approached us. We planned. They already have all the hard work done. But you know, the more musicians, the merrier, because that's a long show run, and
12 hours, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 11 EST AM.
No, PST.
PST. Time zone. I don't understand time zones. I don't understand.
Either. I'm sorry. It was just like I wake up on my time and I'll be there. You know what? Give me a few times because I had that Google Calendar, and every once in a while somebody would send me something West Coast time or from France, and it would set the clock wrong for some reason. And I would show up the wrong time. So I went back to my old calendar, right? Like you were, and I would ask West Coast time or East Coast time, you know.
I literally have a huge calendar on my wall that I write things in, and then on my calendar as well.
There you go. Anka's got it. Here's your time.
Got the time, but I just did a quick translation. 11 EST is 8 PST. So they're starting at 8 o'clock on California time. Nope, I got it backwards.
11 PST is 2 p.m. EST.
Oh, 11 PST. I thought you were saying 11 EST. So it's got the wrong way.
The other way around.
Other way around.
You understand PST and South African time.
So it's 11 PST to 11 p.m. PST. So don't get those confused. You might miss a few hours of really good, fun, unique. It's all unique musicians, right?
Amazing.
And,
it's 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. for South Africa, Johannesburg.
Oh, okay. So can I not be on at like 2 a.m.?
Yeah. So what you do is you contact him. You tell him you're with IBM TV. I'll give you the link or his email. You need someone from South Africa.
But Kim, you know that Alexandra is by default the music ambassador of IBM TV. So without any confusion and confirmation, she's always be a part of a music show until and unless she's doing a Hollywood movie. So that's about it.
So, no more Hollywood. It's IBM Wood.
IBM Wood. I like that. No, I have to tell you the only reason I mentioned not the 2 a.m. is because I would totally be on at whatever time they need me, and I'm like, you know me, I'll be up and I'll just do it. But I did a writers round, a virtual writers round 2 weeks ago, and it was Friday evening, 7 p.m. Nashville time, which was 2 a.m. for me, which meant I have to I took like a little nap, like a 2-hour nap before. So I was up at midnight. I was getting ready. I had to be backstage by 1:30. Only got to bed. I finished at 3:30. Only got to bed at 4. Had to be up for a full day of gigging the whole Saturday and then Sunday. So it just changes your internal clock. And it wipes you out. Being up and I think being up is different, but when you have to work and you know it's a different thing. It's pulling like an all-nighter. It's a different thing. So yeah, but yeah.
Speaking of internal clocks and all that, I think that on your show on Sunday you actually mentioned that y'all are actually doing live performances. So didn't you just recently have your first live performance, Alexandria? Is that what I heard you say that
Yeah,
you recently were out?
I was so I've had about two or three since. So I've done it just like a handful of gigs since. But I had gigs for the first time in 6 months, maybe 4 weeks ago, and it was really nice to be like talking to people, and it was weird because firstly, I totally forgot to. I always introduce myself like who I am, so people know like who I am, and they can talk to me, and they, like I like to interact with people when I'm like doing my job. Like I like to interact with you, otherwise it's way boring. So I like to introduce myself, and I totally forgot to say my name. I was just like, "Hey y'all, we're gonna have a great time. Here's some songs for you," and I started jamming, and that was it. And I just totally it was weird hearing an applause, like people were clapping. I was like, what is that sound, that applause, what is that sound? where are the hearts, where's the double taps, where are the comments?
Swipe right.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking for the comment sections, none of that.
You're looking for the comment sections, couldn't find the comment sections. Was the crowd a full crowd, or was it like half filled?
Like that, the floating cards, right? The
Floating card. Crowd wise, it was pretty full. So the venues are, I think they're at 50% capacity. If I think. Again, like I lose track of the different rules because I just don't leave home. But I think they're at 50%. So it was full in that with that regard, and also they're very good. The stage is set back, and it's all sprayed down before you touch it, because I'm a like a freak like that, because microphones are such a personal thing, because it's literally, this is it, and I don't want, so I had my own stuff with me, and so really, really good. And all the gigs I've done since, I also take my own equipment. People have been dying for live music. They have been dying for it. They just want people, they want to be out with people, they want to grab a beer, and they want to listen to some Fleetwood Mac or some, whatever great tunes there are. So that's what I'm there, and I'm like, I want to listen to great music too, so I'm gonna play.
That's one of the things I miss this summer. Is every summer we would go to the music events on the lawn, right? Because they have several beautiful lawn locations, theaters, and we would go and just sit on the lawn, bottle of wine and enjoy. And none of that this year, right? And it's just been kind of that empty spot. Fortunately, I had this, and I had the IBM TV going on, so you feel that gap, right? But I'm glad to hear the events are going on. I'm going to share some good news with you. They soon think that travel will start really engaging a little bit more. So watch Brandon on Travel Tuesdays and learn how to hack for some good travel deals. But we had Dr. Arthur on, who took his family on vacation from North Carolina to Vegas, which is I'm going to tell you right now, is a very sometimes not comfortable flight. And he took them to Vegas, and they did fine. He said, the airlines have got this down to a science already. Like, they sanitize the plane before people come on. People have a certain way that they order them to get on. You wear your mask. You have to sit in so many seats. You can sit, I guess, with your family, but so many distance. He said they have it all worked out. So he said he went to Vegas for a whole week and nobody got sick. Like, the rooms are constantly cleaned, the hallways, the everything, the elevators, everything is just constantly being cleaned. So he said, get out and start enjoying, because that will allow the tourism industry to start making money so they can keep growing and doing things, and eventually everything opens up. Then you start opening up, and you can come here, Alexandra May, in Nashville next time, where I was supposed to meet her just before COVID hit. I know, right?
You were supposed to meet each other and did not get a chance to have that happen. And I'm with you on the whole festival thing, as both of y'all know from our conversations, as well as the things that we talked about on the show. I'm actually a festival organizer as well as a festival MC, and my main two festivals I've actually missed. So the Eno Festival, which is held at one of our state parks, that was a virtual event. So I did do the virtual event, doing some of the MCing for that, but it's not the same as being out there with your crowd and everything and meeting the great musicians. And I just recently did this week the audio for our street festival here in Durham, because that's going to be a virtual event as well, actually this weekend on the 19th. So it'll be a virtual Centerfest instead of people being outside. So I've really been not having a good time in terms of my festivals, because I love the summer and the fall, because I'm oftentimes involved in those festivals, having a great time, meeting my friends, meeting new friends. Like I remember one time a group came from, I believe it was Scotland, and they performed doing like that Highland music. And I just have always enjoyed meeting folks and doing that festival thing, but doing it virtually. So it's not the same thing. So I'm hoping 2021 we'll get back out there and do real festivals once again.
Here's hoping. Here's hoping.
I've got something to ask you. I just watched like the most amazing TV documentary the other day called The Octopus Teacher. Have you heard of that, Alexandra? So this is two brothers from South Africa. They do a lot of documentaries. I guess this is one's going to win a big one. And I'm thinking they just aired it, but oh my gosh, so beautiful. But it's Craig and Damon Foster. And I'm trying to get to where I meet them and get them on the show. I enjoy that documentary so much. It's one of those that makes you feel personal and in touch with nature. But they do a lot of nature filming. But what I enjoyed about it too, and you might appreciate this, is the music that goes on in the background, right? But it just made me feel in touch with nature again. The way they film and communicate with nature. And here's what was interesting. Before he filmed this, they were doing so much work and he lost the balance in life, and he had a meltdown. Literally just, I can't do anything anymore. And so he kind of went back to his roots, right? And it's there at the ocean, and he decided to go diving every day. And he made friends with an octopus. Who does that, right?
That's so cool.
Wow. Like,
Friends with an octopus. That's an interesting thing to have.
I was thinking about it. It was one of those documentaries, sometimes you'll drift in and out. I like documentaries, but sometimes you kind of drift in and out. It makes me relax, right? I couldn't go to sleep. Like, couldn't drift in. I was just so into it. But it was the music. It was just the combination. If you get a chance to watch it, these guys did a fabulous job. It made you fall in love with South Africa. Although I'm in love with it anyway, but it just, I don't know. I just felt like I was traveling again. And
documentaries are really good at doing that. And I've got good news for you, Kimberly. Just like we pulled the coup of having the StreamYard person and everything, I was actually just on my Facebook messages and checking my messages and email too. And I just recently found out that Deidre Hodge, who is the executive director of the Full Frame Film Festival, will be joining us in the next couple of weeks. So I'm trying to line up the dates, but you can talk about Full Frame and film festivals and things of that nature, because she is going to be joining us on one of these shows, and I'm just trying to figure out the date. But we can definitely have a conversation about festivals and things of that nature. And I just got to share this story that y'all will get a kick out of. Talking about folks that are finding things. One of my early jobs was in the newspaper world, and I actually worked in Boca Raton, Florida. And I remember one of the stories I covered was a family that had an unwanted visitor. So they had a visitor that was coming in from the ocean to visit their house. Because, in Miami, a lot of folks in that area, Boca Raton and everything, they have beach houses. So they found a manatee on their house. So that was the whole story, was we had to go there and cover this family that had a manatee stuck in their house. And they eventually got the manatee back out in the ocean. But I would have been like totally panicking if I woke up and saw a manatee hanging out in my living room, or in their case, I think it was like one of those outside rooms leading into the house. So Alexandria, what do you think you would do if you ran across a manatee or one of those other seafaring animals in you and your parents' house?
I don't know. I actually grew up by the coast. I grew up in Durban. So I don't actually know. I love to surf. I love the ocean. I love boogie boarding, but I don't do well with as we say in South Africa, hohos, like little bugs and creepy crawlies and slimy things. I don't do well with that. I don't do well unless you're a fairy. I don't want anything to do with that.
Hey, what about
I
yourself,
probably
Kimberly?
run.
What would you do if you ran across a manatee in your house? You know, that's that big,
I,
look almost like a
I,
whale-like predator. But what would
yeah,
you
I
do
don't
if you ran
like
across a
fish.
manatee in your house, Kim?
I don't even like fish. Like I can't. I had my foot. I was out surfing one time on a holiday, and I was quite deep in the ocean, like, you know, but I mean it's fine. It was like in a bay, so it's quite safe. It's fine. But there are no sharks, but I think they are like miniature, like, I don't know, like baby sharks. I don't know, whatever these baby things are. They can't eat you, but they are there. And I think there was also like not stingrays, but like flat things, like flat fish. I don't even know what they're called, but they're slimy and they're fish and they're like huge. And I promise you, one like was like right by my feet, and I touched it with my feet and I screamed, and my aunt had to like pull me out the water because I couldn't take it. So I don't do well with those creatures. I don't do well with them. I don't know. Yeah. They're fine over there, but not in my house or where I'm surfing.
I'm so with you, and it's kind of like I've gotten the older I get, a swimming pool's just fine for me, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that's how I am, but I have grown up. I love the ocean. I'm so grounded when I'm there. But a friend of mine out where I used to swim caught one of the North Carolina's largest great white sharks.
No.
Right? So he shows me the picture of it. In fact, it was bigger than the boat. And I quit swimming after that out in the ocean. I used to swim very far out and back. I was a lifesaver. And so there's, you know, to me, it was just nothing to swim far out and enjoy the water and nature. But one day, just even like you said, walking in the sand and then, oops, I feel a crab. No, I just decided it's too much. Yeah, no, look at her. You know, I'm the same way. But I wasn't like that when I was younger. But I kid you not, that was my turning point, was seeing that photo of the shark they pulled out where I was swimming, and I'm like, done. Alligators too. I don't like alligators and crocs, and
no, we've got a crocodile, because we don't have alligators. We have crocodiles in South Africa, and we've got a crocodile farm up the road. I'm not lying to you. It's literally like right there, and actually it's quite funny that the rhino and lion park used to also be up the road. So at night in the valley, because I live out sort of the countryside, you'd hear in the valley, you'd hear the lions roar, which is amazing. They've now moved further away, which is very sad. So I had lions and crocodiles either side of me, and the crocodile farm have got this amazing idea they think is the most exciting thing ever, where you can like zip line over the crocodiles.
No.
Because what? So you're strapped into that thing. It's not like you're strapped into something, or you're strapped into like a harness, and then you get off like a ledge and you down over it. But my thing is, what if like halfway in the middle of this paddock it snaps? You fall. This is not my worst nightmare. You fall and you get paralyzed, so you can't feel anything because you're paralyzed.
Yep.
But you're cognizant, and you're watching them eat your legs. Like,
No.
I can't. And like, I used to, like, we live by a river. I used to play in this river. We have like ponds all over our property. Like, I used to play with the tadpoles and the frogs. I used to collect tadpoles. I cannot stand those. I cannot do it anymore. This is why I live in here. I'm very happy in here.
I'm right here. I do go to the ocean, but I take my umbrella and my chair, and I might walk out and touch the water, build a sandcastle. I don't even like to get dirty. It's weird. The older I get, the less I like to do that. But, I do like to sit in my chair with my umbrella, and I have a guy who brings that for me, so I don't even have to do that. So, because I go to the same place all the time, they treat me like family, and so it's really great. But I get it. I am just like, but I'm going to share something with you. Your story about the alligators and ziplining.
Yeah.
But I could never live next door to an alligator farm because for fear that they would get out. But I just read a book during this time down, and it was a James Patterson book, and that's how the mob would get people to talk. They would torture them by ziplining them into a crocodile pit. And then they would stop them just above where their legs were dangling in the Crocs. And I'm reading this, freaking out. It's like, so when you're sitting there talking about zip lining, I'm like, oh, no. I mean,
no, I'm not trying to zip line
right?
over an alligator. You cannot make me do that. And my brother actually did try the zip lining one time, and I saw the clip of the zip lining going on, and I was like, that is not the answer. I'm not trying to zip line. I'm not trying to parachute. There's a number of things I'm not trying to do.
No.
Now, I do remember collecting tadpoles. That was actually kind of fun as a young man and everything. And I also remember collecting, and this is more of, I guess, probably a Southern thing. Kim, would you agree? But we used to collect fireflies because you made little lamps out of them. Because you would collect the fireflies, put them into the lamp, and then they would make like little lights and everything. So that was kind of cool. But I also like walking down the ocean, and I'm not afraid of like stepping on a shell or things of that nature. Now, if I step on a jellyfish, that's a different matter. I might go right back to my house and stay there because I'm not trying to step on those things.
Oh yeah. Actually, Kim, speaking of crocodiles escaping, well, so so we live down the road from this crocodile farm, and we live on this beautiful river. And I've grown up with porcupines. Like, you guys know what a porcupine? Porcupines like tall, walking through our garden. Like, this is just our thing. This is what we do. So I'm so used to wildlife, and the dogs know to stay away. I love wildlife over there. I love the birds over there. And one day there was this huge thing just across the river, sort of just on the river bit, like the river side. I don't know what's it called, right by the river, just on the other side of it. And we saw this thing, and it was huge, and had this long tail, and had this head, and it had these arms, and we freaked out because we thought that a crocodile had escaped. So naturally we called the crocodile farm. We're like, one of your crocodiles escaped. It's, right there sunbathing, on our river. The people came, they searched high and low for this thing. It was never seen again. So there potentially is a crocodile chilling in the river for the last 5 or 6 years. It's just been chilling there, and that's it.
So you got a crocodile chilling in the back of your river. I'm curious, the crocodile is just chilling in your river and waiting for your pets and everything. Now, Alexandria, have you ever had, because you mentioned that y'all had a lion area as well. Now, I know here in North Carolina, every once in a while, an animal will disappear, a bear or something like that, and they'll kind of come back and get it later on. But have y'all ever had a lion or any of those animals disappear from those areas that are protected and the tourists go to? And how did y'all handle that?
Oh, well, I don't think we've ever had, I'm trying to think. I don't think we've ever had a lion escape. I don't think we might have had like I believe that there might have been a tiger incident one time. Maybe something got out of an enclosure, but I don't know. The thing about these spaces, that it's called like the Lion and Rhino Park, and they're usually captive animals that have been rescued. So they're well taken care of, and so it's great, and it's obviously a huge tourist destination to go to the Lion and Rhino Park in South Africa. Like it's like going to the Kruger on we call it on safari. So like it's a huge thing. So we take care of our own. But I have a feeling there might have been incidents, but it might have been a while ago. And since moving to this the space they are now, it's a lot bigger. They've had more chance to expand and take care of. And I've actually been there. I go there often because I've got one of my close friends. Her mom is really good friends with the owner. And so I'll often go and just like play with the baby cubs, and like it's just like the coolest thing to go and play with these little baby lions. So I mean, I love them at that age. They're so adorable at that age. I've also played with baby cheetahs, a little cheetah rescue, and they're like they're like kittens, but their fur is a lot more rough. And I love cheetahs because they're just beautiful. Like they're a lot more slim than a leopard, but they're honestly beautiful cats. And these kittens are just so adorable, but their fur is rough, and they when they talk to you. We've played with a baby bear and sort of rescue, like just the coolest things. I love, like, it's so cool being in this area because there's so much around here. So Kim, when you come, Mark, when you come.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to doing that. But I just thought of an idea. I think that Kim has actually realized that whenever you become, and you're already a big international star in South Africa, but when you become an even more big international star, I think you're going to be like Michael Jackson. You're going to have a zoo somewhere in your own house and everything. So I
You
think
already
you're going to do
have
like the
it.
whole Michael Jackson thing with your own
I
zoo.
already live on one. I live with
You already
wild
have
animals.
it. She doesn't need to make it. I know. You know what's going to be fun is I'm going to go to Brandon and I'm going to ask him to help me hack an affordable trip to come visit you when things unravel. I am the same age group as your parents, so I really, really have to be careful. And a lot of people don't understand it. They're okay. You can't live your life like this. And I'm going. I might not live my life the other way either.
Exactly.
And what a lot of people don't understand is there's a lot of me that's quite comfortable here. As much as I traveled and networked and and I did it for 5 straight years, traveled 85% of the year. I honestly, it was hard at first because I think I had a little bit of the DT not traveling, but I realized, wow, I am a homebody because I was always a homebody when I came home, right? I'm home. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't even want to go out to eat. So I'm fine with it. And this is what I tell people. If this is what I have to do for right now, I'm going to do it. Right. And I'm going to enjoy getting to know people from all over the world and having these coffee shop talks and helping people reestablish and re-enter into a new stage of making money for entertainers. I mean, I'm so excited about Saturday to give all of these entertainers not this Saturday, the next one, a chance to, display themselves globally because, this isn't just, here in the US. And so, and Alexandra, that's what you did. Your show did that. Your show gave people a venue not to feel sorry for themselves, but to grow and expand, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's I don't know if dignity is the right word, or pride, but to have that back. And I actually I'm working with a really good friend of mine. He's a big musical theater star in this country. He was Rocky in the Rocky Horror Show. So he's got quite a name for himself. But he sort of wanted to look at just being in studio, the different techniques. It's a very different technique. The theater world's very different to the pop world, very different to every world and recording. It's all very different techniques. It's a different toolbox altogether. So we're just working together. I'm just teaching him what I know essentially. And we're just working together, just helping him along. And he actually said something really, really interesting because like me, he's not been able to earn a cent over this time as well because all the tours he had booked a bunch of gigs, these tours with musicals, but like nothing's been able to happen. And he said to me that there is nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, and this is not our fault for you to be in this space. This is not because you have been. It's not because you're not talented. It's not because you've been ugly to people in the business. It's not because you're hard to work with. It is not your fault. It is a global pandemic. And the fact that you can't work is not your fault. So it's okay to ask for help. And I mean, he's moved in with his parents. And I'm also very fortunate to be living on the same property as my parents. I'm taken care of as well in that space. Not to have to worry about rent every single month. So he's been in the same space, not have to worry about rent. And that's okay. It's okay to be whatever age and have to ask for help because it's not your fault. And I think that's one of the big, and it was a bit of a kick up the bum where I was like, because you think it's, gosh, I'm a failure, to not be able to do something, it's a failure. It's why can't I do my job? Why can't I do my job? This is frustrating for anyone. Why can't I do my job? This is my talent. This is my calling. This is whatever it is. I can't do my job. And to just be told again, it's not your fault to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. This is not your fault. And you still have your dignity. You still have your pride. You still have your talent. You still have everything around you. So again, this thing happening next week, Saturday, is amazing because it's not their fault. This has nothing to do with the victims. This is not their fault. And it's okay to ask for help. I think anyone out there, it's okay. It's okay to ask for help.
And we should, even if we can't give in so many ways, there are other ways to give. You can clap, you can send those hearts, swipe right, say hi, right? cheer them on, because that, again,
Yeah.
this is what you said. This is what keeps you going, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And these guys, they're going to be going on all day long. And so give that voice support. If you cannot give money, give your voice support, because the more likes they get, the more support they get, they feel good, but also the whole world starts watching. Let's make it go viral, because you never know. There might be a multimillionaire out there who's sitting on his millions, has nothing to do with it, and goes, you know what? I like these guys. They're doing something good. I'm going to give some money. So you never know. Or you might have, or, a million people watching, we each give $1. Wow. How big would that be? Right. That's what I told someone one time. If 1 million people pass this, and, somehow or another, if we spread all of this and passed it on and everybody put $1 in, how big would that be? So, and I know $1 is hard for some people. Like, there's homeless, there's people who are barely able to eat. They're living in their homes and barely able to make their payments. But if you give this, you feel better, right? If you just.
No, you're so right. And there's so many people that are going through so many changes in this time. But a lot of folks are, like Alexandria said, they're having to pivot and adapt to what's going on. I actually just ran into a friend of mine yesterday who we worked in the education field. He was actually an education tester, meaning testing grade papers and things of that nature on those standardized tests. But Zach, he's another Zach, by the way. Zach is a wonderful guy, Zach Perfect, but he had to move in with his parents because he was going through hard times. So he had to move back in with his parents, but his parents were very much understanding that we're going through a different time. And he's actually closer to probably your age, Alexandria. I think Zach is probably like in his late 20s, early 30s, but he's definitely in that younger set. But, I'm sure that from a pride standpoint, he did not want to move in with his parents, but he also understood that they needed to make an economical decision, and they were understanding as well. So he made it very clear to me that he did have to move back home, and that he was doing that for now. I mean, after we get through this situation, hopefully he'll get back out and have his own space and everything of that nature. But right now, as y'all have all said, we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and folks are having to make some hard choices and some hard decisions, even in their own family dynamics.
Yeah, it's so true. And
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And I was just going to say that again, even afterward, because I mean this new normal, I guess it's the new normal, and I use that term, but the reality is normal implies to something that's been, and the world's never going to be the way it was before. So it's just this new, full stop. And I think even in that space, like with your friend Zach, and with anyone else that's going to possibly hear this or listen to this or whatever it is, that even after this, because it's a whole new world out there, it's a whole new territory, it's a whole new thing altogether. So to not get back on your feet as quickly, that's just going to be the way it is for a lot of people, because everyone's like Kim was saying, not everyone can give $1, and not everyone not everyone can afford that, because jobs have been lost, futures have been lost, goals have been smashed, futures have been torn apart. I mean, just the world is in turmoil right now, as a whole, and we can't expect the world just to bounce back. We don't bounce back as well. We can't expect the world to. So there's patience. I think we got to have a lot of patience, especially like we're going into level 1, fingers crossed, and hopefully level 0 eventually in South Africa, fingers crossed, and patience. That's what everyone needs. Just a whole lot of patience right now.
I love
everyone needs it.
Say that, and I think you have an intro. It's a countdown. Am I right?
I do a 30-second thing.
Yeah, I love it, because you're talking about you're counting down to your levels. I think what your country did, the leaders there, was so smart, because you gave the people goals.
Exactly.
Okay. And then you said, when we meet, you gave them when we meet. When we get this reduced, so everybody's going to wear a mask, everybody's going to clean their hands, because when we get this reduced to 1,000, then we get to go out and play. And right?
It's like eating all your vegetables at dinner.
Right. So to me, how brilliant was that? Because everyone is now on the same team. We just get this down to 1,000. We're good. We've never did this in the U.S. We're still kind of flying the frisbee. But I'm going to play your countdown. Can I do that?
Yeah, 30-second one, of course. Yeah.
Okay. You know what I like about that is I breathe.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
sink in and take a moment, and the music's really good just for me to close my eyes and go, okay, this is a break. And because some days we don't get any breaks, we're all day long going from one meeting to the other, and stuff like that. And you need that. And I think that countdown. I'm not in a hurry, right? Like, how you're saying, how many seconds can I do this? You count it down for me. I like it, but we're going to have to say goodbye. And I thank you guys. We've got Vivian's in China show that comes on, and I think it's a lot of fun to watch, to daydream about going to China. We've got so many other shows coming on. If you guys could stick around just for a few seconds after the show, I'd like to talk to you about some things. But let's bring our ambassador on to tell us how we can get out of this COVID.
कोरोना वायरस से कैसे बचेंगे? ओके, हैंड धोकर और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे, अछू अछू, और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
And guys, we learned from Dr. Arthur that they have proven by science that if you wear your mask, wash your hands, properly distance yourselves in bars, they're not spreading. So just a few little disciplines, the new, not that there's nothing normal, okay? It's called learning a new discipline. I think we can do just like South Africa, and guess what? We'll be able to go out and live again in a new world. And I thank all of you for watching us, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.